Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, and guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. I believe this is stream number 57, and I also noticed on the thumbnail today I left a P off of Prepper whenever I was fixing that thumbnail, so a little slipping on my English there on the latter part of my life. I'll have to go back to English class, but welcome everybody to the building tonight. Now, we're going to be covering a pretty intense topic, and I think one that is well important for many people that's going to be listening, because I know some people still think that we are going into the new year ahead on the pagan papal Roman calendar. However, with that in mind, for those that follow the lunisolar biblical scriptural calendar knows that we're 3 months out from that, well on 3 months out from that. And sorry guys, just clear this one notification right here. So with that said, I'm going to go through a couple notes here. Guys, if you haven't checked me out over on Odyssey, make sure to do so, because over there is the Hall of Fame videos, I call it, anytime I get a community guideline strike over here on YouTube land and the content gets taken down. And hey, also on YouTube land, make sure to check it out, guys, for your kids, family, and any adults that love to do it. Myself, and got my son going to be helping me soon, and my wife's helping me, and when my little girl gets old enough, she's going to be helping. But it's a family-oriented kids show and family show, Adventures in Bricks. We're going to be doing a lot of Lego things over there. Also this spring I'll be doing a golf channel, and I'm going to finally get back to work on the Crypto Minded channel. So there's 3 other channels here on YouTube you can check out content, but over here, of course, is prepping and scriptural faith-based things. All right, so just to review real quickly, tonight, this is what we're going to be going over. If you missed the stream last week, went into a deep dive into pagan origins of the sea mass, and that I thought that was a really good stream. Also, stream for that talked about freedom of the facts being silenced now, and boy, is it ever. I actually watched a guy on YouTube today. I forget who his channel was. Just hold that thought for a second. The last one, if you missed one of the most recent streams, was bringing down the crypto market, and this all kind of ties in together. I don't know if y'all seen, but a lot of content creators, I'm talking people that's got a mega following. Man, this new lighting in the studio, it's just insane how bright it is in here. I got to adjust this still some more. It used to be so dark behind me, like I was in the back cave or something. Now it's actually bright in here. But this guy's channel, he has like videos he's putting out. He's a ministry channel, and it doesn't mean I agree with everything he says, but nevertheless, he's got a great channel. And he's got, like, in just a matter of days, you know, it's in the tens of thousands of views, kind of like my content used to be. But then I kept getting in trouble, and shadow ban. Well, the guy said something about something the other day that was super controversial, and he barely had any views on his channel. I mean, it reflected like practically immediately. And guys, I apologize so much. My phone is blowing up. All right, I started a little early, and that might have been the issue. All right, so the guy's views, what I was saying about it is, if you look at his views, wow. I mean, like, it plummeted immediately, and he's got a massive following. So I'm just saying, like, people might have been like, well, I was just crying about it, bro. That one made waves today. And furthermore, just one side note, and I'm going to get on task. I don't know if guys ends have seen it about that TikToker. I think it's Adam or something like that. That I guess the CIA or somebody wiped him off the map the other day because he filmed a giant in, I guess it was Canada. And long and short of it, he went up there to further investigate it because the locals talked about it. Next thing you know, dude ends up dead. And a lot of stuff on TikTok about it. Stuff starting to be talked on YouTube about. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things being exposed in the world that people are starting to disappear because they're exposing it. Like, things are getting ramped up out here. I'll just say that. Okay. And so anybody new to the channel, I'm going to get in the comments in just a second before we get this party started. And then of course, later we will send a shout out to the channel affiliates and supporters. But if you haven't followed my channel, I do this around 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sabbaths, and noon, 12 o'clock Eastern time on new moon days on the scriptural biblical calendar. But I'm going to start doing this, guys, the night before new moon and the night before Sabbath, so I can enjoy my full Sabbath with my family. So just a heads up on that, that will be a change in the year ahead. Okay, I'm going to finally settle out a time on this permanent for those that actually do like to catch this live. All right, so real quickly, shout out to everybody in the comments section. Hey, much love, brother, to you as well. Shalom to everybody across the world here. Hey, we got people up in Canada land in here today. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a lot better than I was when I was sick about 2 or 3 weeks ago, guys. I appreciate everybody that prayed for me. Been a lot of people sick. The new year and winter, right, JD? I get it. Yeah, 2023 of the papal calendar. That's right, guys. Many people's waking up scriptural biblical calendar. Somebody says I'm smoking truth TV. I'm kind of new to the show, and I'm loving your content so far. Hey, much love to y'all. Here, shout out to you, Fearmonger. That's a brother right there that has helped massively support this channel financially. Love y'all. Here at Spain, we got people across this flat earth listening in Spain. That's awesome, guys. All right. So without further ado, let me scroll down here, get my everything queued up that we're going to touch on. And the last note real quickly is the Jeremiah Conference 23-3. This is coming up the 13th, 14th. If you want more information on it, you can check it out at Boom Church, but I'll be speaking at that. I don't know exactly which day. I got to get with Elder Bishop Brown and talk with him. If y'all catch that live over on his stream a couple weeks ago, me and him chopped it up, talked about a lot of different things. It was a great stream together on his content. Nevertheless, that's coming up if you want to check it out. All right, so we're at the 8-minute mark. I usually keep it to 7 or less. Now I've gotten really good at this, but ran a little over tonight. So here's the thing. I'm going to pull up my list here of my notes, and I'm going to set my phone where that it won't go off, which I should not have started this so early. I left a few things undone. Auto lock to never. And we shall begin this journey on the downturn. Why I'm talking about this is because now many people, I think, are like, hey, we're going to have a good year ahead. We're going to have a good year ahead. And you know what? I think if you're breathing air, you have a good day or a good year. It's just good to be alive. But with that said, there is going to be some savage things happen in the near future. And it's no denying it, because for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can see it in the background beyond any shadow of a doubt. And we need to be mindful of these effects as they're going to affect us moving forward. It's just how it is. It's unavoidable. And what I also want to point out is that anything to do with money is always about control. The root of the wicked, the root of all evil, it's money. That's the root of all evil, right? It's how things can, money is a control mechanism. Okay. At the end of the day, that's something we all need to understand. Okay. Absolutely 23 to be worse than 22. You got it, guys. And, when it comes down to it, if you look, more and more and more is starting to be put in the news about people getting microchipped in the hand to be able to pay. And I've been looking at these pay pads ever since that quite some time. I was out in West Tennessee doing a project, and I seen that gas station and the new tap to pay thing was being installed in it. And I was like, dang, you can fit your hand on that thing too. I was like, that's really wild. Matter of fact, you can put your head down to it, scan on it as well. I'm just saying. But, when I look at this, I know in eventuality, the digital currency, government-based digital currency stuff, I mean, all this is leading toward, like I said in that movie, In Time, not End Time, INTIME. It has Justin Timberlake in it and that little redheaded chick. I can't think of her name. But anyway, this is the direction in which things are moving. And now I'm going to tell you this. People's like, ever since the JAB was handed out the past couple years, many people's like, mark of the beast, mark of the beast. And my point in case I've made to everyone ever since is that I'm not over here yelling it's the mark of the beast. What I'm telling you is it is as of the days of Noah, for sure, slam dunk, because they are changing your DNA. Okay, that's a fact. Now, I don't need to get shadow banned off of that. I don't need to get this video taken down over that. That's a factual statement off medical documentation. All right. So it makes modifications to your DNA. All right. It's just facts. All right. So it's not an opinion. And therefore, nobody flag this video or get up in your feels. But however you look at it, we're living as of the days of Noah in the last days. Okay, just facts. Now, whenever you tell people you cannot buy and sell unless you do X, Y, and Z, that's always going to make me red flag and run the other way. And I didn't take it, guys. I'm 3 years into this thing now, baby, and I didn't take the JAB. And I got my content pulled recently for even talking about a documentary that was about it. If y'all go to Odyssey, you know where the link is, you know where the 2-minute video is that promotes it, still over there. The link to those guys' documentary. But in my situation over here, I've got to be mindful about what I say. But when I look back from right now to the past couple years backwards, what I can say beyond all reasonable shadow of a doubt is I know I'm not a coward. I'm worried about that in life. There's a bunch of things I'm like, I never want to die a coward. I don't want to die in an unrighteous state. There's a bunch of things I just don't want to ever happen in my life. And I look back now and I was like, JD Israel, I see your comment. And everybody else that's watching, I can't respond to that because if I talk about that, I'll get this video taken down because I've already lost content over that. Much love to you, but I'm just gonna nod my head, okay? But with that said, I look back now, and I'm so grateful knowing I seen that documentary and seeing all that I've seen, and knowing back then that I shouldn't do that. It's all right, brother. I appreciate you. No worries. I'm held to the fire here. You guys ain't, okay? So I'm just saying, like, no worries. But I look back on that and I've seen people that were 2 times my size and probably 3 times my strength cave in and give on into that. And I'm like, I am so grateful that I'm not a coward. I'm like, I didn't bend down to that. I didn't give in to that. I didn't submit. And I'm just so grateful that because it taught me something. I'm like, don't judge man by his outward appearance in any way. Not that I try to do that, but like, don't even think of it just in a physicality of strength either. But Tess, that was definitely hard to watch, sis. Oh my gosh. But I look back at that now and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I didn't cave into that. And I know now, like in my spirit, when it comes really down to the nitty gritty where the rubber meets the road, I can finally for sure check one box publicly to people. It's like, I did not submit. I stood my ground. I stood on what I had faith in and believed. That gives me comfort. All right. Not tooting my horn. I'm just telling you, like, take peace and comfort in that, ladies and gentlemen, that you had the strength that you didn't submit to that. All right. Oh man, I did put a mask on, guys. I had made contracts with people and I had to fly. I did do that. I ain't gonna lie about it. Most of y'all seen it, but I had to get from one place to another and I was stuck. All right, but I didn't do the rest. Nope. All right. So with that said, my first point is that you got to understand there's financial issues worldwide. Now, I hate I use this news source to put this one up here, but what I want to pinpoint with this all the time when I do this anymore is that these are examples where that you can just instantly Google something anymore. Not that just because you Googled it, it's instantly correct, but just for example, the global economy, and I hate that word, the world economy, because we know we don't live on the globe. For those that know the scriptural geostationary flat earth under a firmament dome, waters above and waters below, just like scripture states. We will experience a deeper slowdown next year. The International Monetary Fund said in its latest outlook that I'm going to just say world growth could fall to 2.7% in 2023, excluding the financial crisis and the worst phase of the pandemic. Now, notice they said excluding. Let me say that word again, excluding, because if you actually counted those numbers, bro, it dumpster fire. And it's not looking very positive ahead, guys. All right. So when you look at this, it says Tesla stock collapse sees nightmare losses head towards $1 trillion. All right. Now, when you consider up on this, we're not talking in hundreds of millions of dollars. We're not talking in tens of millions of dollars. We're not talking in billions of dollars. We're talking in trillions of losses. Okay, coming up. And this is things that, we all need to be mindful of, because on the back end of this, you start asking yourself, what is causing all these things? Well, for one, the cabal and the world government and all these things, there's so many things that are leading into this. And of course, scripture states that these things will happen. However, if you look at the thing that I want to point out is natural disasters are massively on the rise. And now many people would label them natural disasters, but I would call them birth pains of the last days, as the scripture talks about. And if you look at, and now also keep in mind, 2nd Ezra chapter 16 states that when bad things happen, okay, and when you see the things happen in the Middle East and all this stuff, that is the beginning of sorrows, okay? Take note to that, beginning of sorrows. So one of the first things to keep in mind is you have volcanoes activity per year, right? Known historical active volcanoes. And you look at the population and the volcanoes active per year. You look at this, how that no matter, I love how it says right here, do not use this image out of context for the analysis, all right, of the GVP site. But one thing to take from this is that we can see here by records being kept that the activity of volcanoes is increasing in the world. And not only that, you look at like Hurricane Ian, it's just really caught my attention. You've got Sandy and Katrina, all right, that were very paramount. But what really is wild to me with Ian is whole chunks of landmass were removed for good. Like they're just gone, bro, just wiped out. And that really caught my attention, you know, because that it's just been completely erased off the face of the earth. And we're starting to see this world be transformed and judged. I mean, it's just insane to watch this take place in some days, because, you know, men's hearts failing them for things coming up on the earth, scripture warns, but like literally those of us that even know what's up, it's still hard for me to conceive this some days and take this in my mind. Yeah, I can't help but question everything we've been told to. And hey, listen, I don't profess to know it all. What I do know, I always try to point out, this is where I'm at. Guys, I'm in my walk too. All right. And it's our personal responsibility of each and every single one of us to search things out to see if they be so. All right. So the next thing that we can for sure count on that's going to definitely hurt financial markets in the future, cyber terrorism. Not only that on our utility grid, but on financial institutions. Listen, I forget who it was the other day. I heard somebody tell me through the grapevine, I believe it was, that one of the financial institutions that all their information got leaked out to people and everything, it went down because that employee got mad and quit and took that information and shared it out there on the web or whatever, I guess. Hey, I appreciate you, Tess. Love y'all. Listen, everybody tunes into this. Appreciate yins and love yins. I hope it's a help. Please share the information with others. But that right there, okay, is detrimental. And you got to understand that your information nowadays, when you key things in, it's being sold. It's being used to market to you. I mean, like, nothing to these people are sacred anymore, guys. And cyber terrorism, it's going to become a thing in the years ahead. I mean, it's going to become a massive thing. And matter of fact, it's probably going to be one of the tools used to blow up the markets, so that, you know, the New World Order agenda can continue to be rolled into place. All right. And now my next point I would make is, if this is an inflation expectation for 2023. Now, I think this is really bad, not correct. Because if you look at where it's really dark, talking about like it's going to be like go way up there, America doesn't show that it's like that going to be that bad. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to be bad all the way from the US all the way over into Eastern Europe. Like, I think it should be like bright red over there in Russia right now. And I think that they're way off base on this. And this, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an electrician, and actually now a factory manager over about 40 something guys that builds tiny houses, you know? So, I mean, that's my current career now. But in the long scope of it, you don't have to be a financial advisor. You don't have to be a bank manager. You don't have to be a market trader, professional to see that there's things way off kilter and something is not right. And prices are continuing to go. My wife went and got groceries the other day. It's just me, her, and a baby. $340 for like 2 weeks worth of groceries. I'm like, bro, that's some people's whole week's paycheck. That's some people's whole week's paycheck. Just saying. There was a whole week of your pay just to pay for 2 weeks worth of food. Like, how's people even surviving? All right. My next point in contention on this, to point out to everybody, is that the pandemic, when we look at Klaus Schwab, the New World Order's mouthpiece, I really try to imitate him whenever I say what he says. But here, let me try to say it in the Klaus Schwab voice. The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect and reimagine and reset our world. Spectre. I swear this guy reminds me like, the dude from Spectre that James Bond always has to fight. Oh my gosh. I swear I can't take this dude seriously. Eating a lot of beans these days, brother. Yeah, I guarantee you people are, brother. Civic Guy 2005. But like Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and all these grease bags, like they know what they were doing. Okay, now if you look at it, Rockefeller's, I can't think his name right now, but he was given that speech to all the pharmaceutical industry reps about how that there's so much money to be made from VACCINE. Hopefully I beat the algorithm right then. But there was all that being said, right? And so then you turn around and then you have that exact situation happen, and then shops closed up for the last 2.5 years. Everybody's locked down to their house, and it was just a dumpster fire pretty much. And that has hurt this economy worldwide, and it has never really recovered from it. Now, there's certain sectors that's booming because of it. I mean, because like you take, for instance, people can't afford to own a large home anymore. Well, what do? They sell it and they buy a park model home, an RV, a tiny house, a cabin. They downsize it. So, real estate and construction sectors, some sectors are booming while others are bust. So like, this is what happens if you don't beat the algorithm there. YouTube will remove. No, what happens is you get pushed further down in suggested videos to people and shadow banned, essentially. Like, I'm starting to learn this stuff, guys. This year, my goal on YouTube is to go over 100K and to beat the algorithm. That's my goal this year. I plan to grow this channel. That, like I said, that Adventures in Brick channel, which, by the way, if you go on the link in the video description below, please go over and subscribe. Help grow that too, because I'm subtly going to send people over to watch this channel from there too. It's kind of, I'm going to hit people from all venues, sport venue, from a family venue, and like brick building. I'm going to hit people from crypto mining angle and try to direct traffic to here. I've got an agenda, but I'm also going to try to make money on them other 3 channels. So no, you're welcome. Absolutely. I'm glad to explain. Listen, guys, anybody that's producing content out here, you got to be mindful of this moving forward. We've got to be smarter than our enemies. Okay. So shout out to you, Tessa. That's awesome. So, you look at the pandemic, the Great Reset, this definitely hurt us. And as you've seen now, like CNN, which is garbage anyway, they try to do their daily live CNN thing, and it lasted, what was it, 2 weeks, and it flopped. Please, somebody put the exact timeline in the comment section, because it was bad. I honestly think it didn't last a week, and they were already almost upside down financially. Like, it was really bad. But anyway, when you look at that, CNN, like, for example, exempted the percentage of loss from the pandemic. They're surviving by high credit debt and ramen noodles. Absolutely. Yep. I agree with you. That's how a lot of people are. All right. And so anyway, moving forward past the pandemic, now, when we get to my next point, and let me scroll up my notes here, guys, so where I'm at, and we're about at the halfway mark, so I'm going to do some shout out to our affiliates and stuff in a minute, but I want to stay on this a moment. I have touched on this, and I'm actually going to do a stream dedicated to this, and it probably will be next week. So anybody that's listening right now, y'all like, I wonder what the stream's going to be next week. Well, stream number 58 is probably going to be about the river Euphrates drying up, and just go full deep dive, history, scripture, current events, blah, blah, blah. Is if you look with the Euphrates drying up, now, to me, if you are a believer, if you are sitting under the sound of my voice and you are listening to me right now, you should feel validated, okay? Validated. Because the book that you subscribe to, like the scripture behind me, which now my Aunt Severe is in my bedroom right now. If you listen to the sound of my voice right now and acknowledge that the scripture you have read and believed in in Revelation chapter 16 literally told this would happen. Oh, we're looking at like 2 millennia ago now. You know, there is literal factual foundation of scripture happening. Like nobody else said, hey, this is going to happen or this or that. No, the scripture said this. Now, however, I want to read this out of the scripture first, out of the Bible. This is Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And it says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. All right. Now, for those, I'm not going to push people to Islam here. This is not my intention. I just want to show you something that's apparently, I've not read this excerpt in particular out of the Quran, out of the writings. Okay. I'm going to do a further deep dive on this, but apparently it speaks of the Euphrates will uncover a mountain of gold. And it says, Abu Harabi reported, messenger, may peace be upon him, as saying the last hour would not come before the Euphrates uncovers a mountain of gold for which people would fight. Pause. This is interesting because this makes way for the kings of the east to come that way. Also, why would they come that way? Well, apparently they're going to fight over, you know, they're going to fight over gold possibly. And guys, I'm looking at the comments, but also I'm trying to stay focused. If y'all super chat or donate via PayPal, make sure to read it, but I'm just trying to stay on point here. There's a lot of comments going on tonight. 99 out of each 100 would die, but every man amongst them would say that perhaps he would be the one be saved and thus possess the gold. When I heard that, and I've been reading that, I could not help but think about Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Lonely Mountain, Erebor, The Kingdom of the Dwarfs, The Gold Under the Mountain. That's where I'm trying to get that narrator voice going here. All right. And I think about Bilbo, you know, and Smaug, you know, and all that gold and just everybody just throwing down, you know, and wanting it. And yes, right here, I agree with this statement. Tony DG says, yes, it's in scripture. I'm a believer, but in the other book, it scares the heck out of me. I imagine she's talking about the Quran. And this is the thing. I just threw this out there just like I'm doing the Lord of the Rings right now, making a point that should these things come to pass, just like you can read like in the Lord of the Rings or watching the movies, you know, pop culture, is that everybody wanted the gold. You know, they were, I mean, from the dragon down, they were wanting the gold. Okay, yeah, that's what you're speaking about. And I get that, but I use a lot of things as analogies so that I can explain things in a way that all people can understand this, from the least of us to greatest. And if you look at the river Euphrates drying up, all the things that's being discovered now that were hidden for millennia, and then you look at so from ancient Mesopotamia culture to, you know, it says the fallen messengers, 4 of them's chained up in the river. I don't doubt it a bit. And so then, you know, you kind of got a desolation of Smaug situation where you've got, you know, angels bound in a place that there's gold. Now everybody's going to want this gold. I swear it's just like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings kind of stuff going on here, guys. I'm just saying. And before we get there any further, I want to send a shout out to all our peeps. Once again, guys, make sure to go subscribe on Odyssey for 7 Trumpets Prepper channel. Also, guys, like I said, make sure to check out link for Adventures in Bricks in the link below. Let me see here. And mirror safety, guys, if you're wanting any preparedness gear for like you know, CBRN gear, sorry, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear kind of stuff, you know, you definitely want to check out Mirror Safety. They got a ton of products, and yes, they even have it down to children's equipment, which, by the way, when it does become available to buy again, I definitely want to buy some because they were out of stock here a while back, and I really want to get it just in case that Mr. Putin has a moment and he flips the switch. Guys, also check out Faraday Defense. All these links for these guys are in the video description below. Okay, they've got all sorts of EMP shield and protective gear. I've used some of the Faraday bags. I used one of them, I'm sorry, in a video review when I was at the beach earlier this past year we were in. Yeah, this past year we were in. Also, guys, make sure to check out BattleBox. It is, the new code is 7 trumpets and then the number 15 with that. All right, but that'll get you all the links in the video description below, direct over to them. That'll get you 15 off your first box, 15% off. And they've had some good stuff here lately. Really, really impressed. And then, guys, if you haven't checked out Kingdom Minded Company, make sure to check out my wife's shirt company. Link is in the video description below. Got a whole pile of shirts, and this year I'm going to update some of the pictures here that I advertised that for her and everything. That helps her, and that which helps our family. And I appreciate each and every one of you that have supported her and bought a shirt. And lastly, like I said, make sure to check out the Jeremiah Conference 23-3. Guys, that's coming up, and I'm really excited about it. And by all means, check it out. And if you want to support that and go to it, by all means, please do so. I'm excited to see what will come of that. And hopefully it'll be a help to many who watch it. And live streamed and also present there at it. All right. Okie doke. Now, for our next thing that I'm going to cover, I want you to understand that as I say things, I always speak from a point like, here's the knowledge base and stuff. Michael, I understand that, but at the same time, these people help support me. If everybody wants to just drop off their wallet here, I mean, I'll be glad to stay at the house all the time. And, you know, I'll be glad to do this every day, no joke. But at the same time, I have to go work a job, and, you know, YouTube doesn't pay me to do this. They do everything they can to take my content down. So, I mean, you know, I have to travel and go to places. I'm going to be paying that out of my pocket to go to Atlanta. I ask nobody nothing for that. I'm going to put, you know, if I have to go places and speak, I pay the plane ticket, I pay the car. So I'm just saying, guys, like, you know, somebody's got to foot the bill on that stuff. So, all right. Can I speak about the remnant? Sure, we can do that on a channel or a video on the stream one night. And also, you have done more than you know for me and my daughter. Much love to you. That I'm absolutely glad this channel is a help to you. All right, so let me do this. The thing with I'll tell you in just a second. The thing with Bankman-Fried, okay, is that you got to understand, I have said this, I think I'm on record for this already with the crypto video I done back when this first happened. But long and short of it, I said that this all was like deep state CIA thing. I'm 100% behind that. I still stand behind that. Matter of fact, the more that continues to transpire, the more that I am 100% almost convinced that my down the rabbit hole you know, view of this is where it's at. Okay. Now, the reason that I say that things are going to, you know, financially pop because of this situation is because that there is a statement, and I'm trying to wrangle it up so I can share it with everybody. But apparently that Bankman-Fried said that it was all a Ponzi scheme from the get-go. I really believe Deep State helped this guy do it, because he just reminds me of somebody that, like, you know, eats mac and cheese and plays like Call of Duty Warzone all day long in his mother's basement instead of like actually, you know, holding down a job. And I don't know if anybody's read this book. I really want to read this book. Just side note, if anybody's read this, please let me know. I'm very curious if it's worth the late night time to read it before I go to bed. I would be very interested to read this book. So by all means, please let me know if somebody's read that. But just, you know, with the situation that happened, you've got Odyssey that got sued by the Security and Exchange Commission earlier last year, I believe it was. And then this year they finally lost their case. Okay. So they lost out. And whenever that they lost that tells me that that was a straight up attack on the one free speech outlet for social media, because it would have been a great replacement for YouTube. And hopefully it will be. And then you look at the moving forward from that is that you've got Solana, which was deeply tied to FTX. Then FTX crashes, bringing Solana down. And guys, the phone literally is supposed to be out this month, and they're just running Solana's price to the floor. I mean, it's down almost under $10 a share now, when at its highest, I think it was $200 something. Like, I mean, they are just killing this project if possible. And that was going to bring a phone to people and more privacy, in my opinion, and most likely a cold storage wallet and so many other things. And I even put my money down on it too, a deposit to get that thing to support that project. And so, you know, anything to get freedom for the people, it's being assaulted. And I just love how it was that exchange in particular that was the one that brought down. And if you look, apparently he made bail. And I don't know exactly who bailed him out. Now, some people, I guess, saying that it was his parents bailed him out. And now I guess some people saying his anonymous source bailed him out. I don't know. But this whole storyline, it's just continuing to evolve, just continuing and continuing and continuing to evolve. And to me, it bodes that there is hands behind the curtain that is doing this. Okay. Like that is what's annoying to me. I'm just saying, in the long and short of it. Okay. Now, my next point I would make on that is that in order for the security of the nation and the security of the people and for prosperity and blah, 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 what you have to have is a central bank digital currency. This is their tool also, while that I think CIA deep state is tanking the industry, is that what they're going to do is help bring in the central bank digital currency, because this is the safe alternative to replace what's happening. All right. I mean, you don't have to be rocket scientists to kind of see where this is headed. Right. And that's the direction that's headed. Okay. And if you look at the trending from when the lawsuit started with Odyssey, a free speech platform, to what's going on with Solana right now, which will provide the people's phone on blockchain. I'm going to call it the people's phone. To the next thing I think will be the real slam dunk will be when like storage, STORJ, and Siacoin, SIACOIN, like tokens like that, coins, will be attacked, because those are safe storage alternatives to like iCloud and to, what is it? Oh my goodness, Google Drive and things like that. That's the replacement alternative. That'll be the next thing that'll be somehow hacked or something will go wrong with it or blah, blah, blah. You can just see where this direction on all this stuff is headed. That's the next play. And I've already seen 2 chess pieces toppled over. I wouldn't be surprised on the next. All right. So on my notes on that, my next case in point, I would tell you that we're definitely headed into an economic spiral, is because resources are becoming scarce, food, and especially the prices on it, and clean water. I mean, the other day, the pipes froze in Newport, Tennessee, and they burst and cracked and all this stuff. And apparently they were worried that you would need to boil your water because it may be contaminated. And it's a mess. And I'll tell you what, we are getting to a point where that if you don't have a whale, you don't have a means to produce your own food, power, and it paid your taxes off so you can just sit quietly and peacefully by yourself. I think you're going to be in a pickle. I mean, no doubt about it, because it's just so many things coming unhinged left and right. I mean, just in review real quickly, if we talk through this, the mark of the beast is obviously the intent of this, long and short of it. Now, and then after that, you've got financial world woes already for various reasons, because people made poor decisions, wars, and stupid other stuff. But then on top of that, you have going to have possibly cyber terrorism. We already for sure know inflation's coming. Then you had the Great Reset. That's 5 things. The River Euphrates situation that we're in right now. Just wait till gold's seen in that. And then the crypto crisis situation. And now resources becoming scarce. And I got 2 more for you. And we're 40 minutes in this thing. I still got 2 more to go. But you look at this. Nobody. There was a what was it? Where the snow was finally melting. People were rushing to the stores to clean them out, and they literally were mowing them down. Okay, and just left and right. And there was like the shelves were bare. And it's going to get to the point, folks, where things aren't just going to be readily available. Like I'll give you an example, and I'm going to move to the next point. I went to Rural King, and I was going to buy a propane on-demand heater. and they only had 2 left on the shelf, I think it was. And by the time I walked back there to buy the one off the shelf, it had already, or the one of the 2 that was left, they are both already gone. And the shelves were bare from all heat units. And it's like, I asked the lady, I said, you got anything in the back? And she said, no, that was the end of the road. She didn't have any more. So I'm just like, dang. Like, abundance of things is not what it used to be. You've got to understand this. All right. You guys have just got to, we've got to understand this. All right. So point number 9 is war. Listen, war is always good for the military industrial complex, and especially the United States terrorist state of the world, that we just supply everybody arms to kill each other and then profiteer off of it. Like, bro, I could just go into it, but I'm not. What I want to point out tonight, as far as war goes, is the damaging effect that it's going to cause on the world economy, because oil and materials and wheat and so many other things, you know, there is a lot that the European countries over there produce. And this is disrupted right now because everybody's busy killing each other and doing Putin's war. And it's a mess. And I don't know when that is ever going to end. I think we're going to continue to see stuff like this continue to trend until Messiah returns. I mean, nonstop. But regardless, I don't care if you look at it from crypto to any financial institution, period. You're going to continue to see the financial strife because of war. And if it stops in Russia today, then it picks up in the Middle East. Well, they're already, if I go back to that slide, their inflation situation in the Middle East and then in the South American countries is just, it's already a dumpster fire. Imagine war in those regions. You're really going to have conflict, and people's pouring over the borders just to get here, to get away from all that down there. Guys, I mean, I could just go on and on and on about this stuff. And like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but you can go ahead and scratch war on your list for this year being the reason for a lot of financial downturn, okay, and markets and stuff. And I seen something, a comment that I wanted to address. Where was it? I seen where somebody said, oh, yeah, absolutely, brother. This is the thing, guys. Crypto, the next all-time high, if it gets to it, I'm cashing out too. I'm just telling you. Like, and the only reason I ever done this was extra cash to help pay the bills and to, to try to set some stuff aside for prepping. Like, it was an extra financial resource venue, like crypto mining and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, even the dollar bill is a Ponzi scheme. Like, please, guys, just understand that. Like, don't beat up on your brother and sister that does crypto, because at the end of the day, if you're using a dollar bill, it's still just as much a Ponzi scheme as crypto. I'm just saying. And I'll leave it at that. And then, of course, the last point I would make about why we're going to have financial downturn is, I'm going to tell you what, it doesn't matter if 7 Trumpets Revelation started in the near future or later years down the road. Wherever we're at right now is a train wreck. Okay. And whenever it gets on down there and gets on past the point of no return on a lot of this stuff, when the 7 Trumpets Revelation hit, everything's going to come like hardcore screeching halt. Hardcore screeching halt. And it is going to be painful, the ramifications financially to people. We ain't even going to talk about what happens during it. You can read that right now, and I've talked a ton of different videos. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know how. It's in the double digits of videos I've talked about 7 Trumpets of Revelation over the years. It's what this channel is geared toward, getting prepared for. But like, literally, the things that is going to affect the financial sector just hinged off this alone, oh my goodness, it's going to make waves. I mean, it's absolutely just going to make waves. And at the end of the day, there's no stopping it. This one is a guarantee, just like the river Euphrates drying up. This one right here is a guarantee too. You are beyond the point of no return. Congratulations on being made awake to that today. So guys, I'm gonna review, and then I'm gonna pop off the screen here and talk to you for a minute before I get out of here. Mark of the beast is the main goal of bringing down financial markets. Do not forget that, because you need things to fail before you can prop it up again and have a golden era. All right, you've got to collapse something before you can control something. Second thing is financial issues worldwide. Okay. It's happening all over the place. Just because you're having a good time in your country, there's people suffering in another country right now. Natural disasters, cyber terrorism, inflation, the Great Reset, the River Euphrates, the crypto crisis, the resources becoming scarce, war and rumors of war, and the seven trumpets of Revelation. There is a lot going on. And let me tell you, it only takes a couple to be a winner. Okay. I mean, when it comes to financial institutions, you cannot continuously survive being hit by hurricanes and earthquakes and volcanoes, and then having to keep paying out the insurance, not only for physical things, but for people dying. You're going to go bankrupt. You can't keep surviving getting hit by extortion and cyber terrorism. You can't keep surviving getting hit by inflation, because if you're profiting 30% over here and inflation went up 40%, you're still upside down. It's just a slower kill off than other. Man, I just I just don't even know where to begin on some of this stuff. Seriously, like it's a deep dive. It is a deep dive. And the more and more I look at things, the only way to insulate yourself to this, because I've talked about what's coming, I'm going to talk just for a few minutes about how to insulate, and then I'm going to bump out of here, is that the only way to insulate yourself is to make sure you prepare, is to make sure that you prepare that you've got food, is to make sure to prepare you've got your own power, is to make sure and prepare you got your own protection, is to make sure you've got your own well, is to make sure you're off grid. Like, there is a lot of steps that can be put in place to protect yourself to the best of your ability. But if you're dependent on government to save you, if you're dependent upon the World Economic Forum to save you, if you're expecting all these people to come around and gather around and sing Kumbaya and save the day, it ain't happening, brother. All right, it ain't happening. You're on your own in this thing. So the best advice I can give you is to do a sound foundation of preparing right now while times are still somewhat survivable, because it's going to get clean off the hinges here soon enough, because you've got enough pieces on the chessboard that you don't need to take all the pieces from the other side. You've just got to take a couple more and you've got checkmate. And there's enough things lined up that can happen that one way or another, you're definitely going to end up at checkmate. That's all I'm saying on that. So, guys, I hope this stream's been a help to you. Like I said, next week, I think I'll do a deep dive about the River Euphrates, because I think that a lot of people are like, are we there yet? And it's like, well, the trumpets got to start. And, there's a lot more things to come, but it's a great hash mark to let you know where the direction of things is moving. And I think that's the most important thing to be said from that. So anyways, guys, I'm going to bring up the outro here and get it ready to go. I don't know why it is, but StreamYard, for some reason, takes a long minute on getting some of this stuff loaded up. I'm going to try to see if it's just the toggle with the mouse or what. I've got like a Bluetooth mouse thing coming. I'm going to see if that hopefully helps out. But guys, as always, till we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, hope Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. In Yahushua name.